Right, folks, before we get into what will hopefully go down in history as the Anthony Harris show, as he makes his glorious return today, if you don't know how, watch yesterday's video. But before we get into that, quick public service announcement. If you want to get one of these beautiful home shirts, not just the pinky red one, the green one as well, which I don't seem to have to hand, but if you do want to get a home replica shirt, they do look awesome. Look how awesome they look. They're only going to be available for less than a week now. If you're watching this in the future, your window is probably closed. The shirt store on Tribefire closes on Tuesday, the 12th of March, 2019. It's completely out of my hands. Tribefire, the company who make the shirts, are closing down that side of their business. They're not closing their business, so if you've ordered a shirt, don't worry, you're still going to get it. And if you order shirts now, you'll still get them. The company still exists. They're just shutting down the merchandise side of their business to focus on other stuff. They've kept our store open for as long as they could, but they do need to get it shut down because it's their business decision. There's nothing we can do about it. I am looking around to try and find an alternative supplier. The problem is I've seen how good the quality can be, and I don't want an alternative supplier that's going to be rubbish. I love the fact that they've got the detail like it's coming home inside the collar there. They've got the button collar. They've got the personalised name and number on the back. I want, if we can't do them this quality somewhere else, we won't do them at all. So there's a very good chance that after next Tuesday, you'll never be able to buy a home replica shirt again. So if you've been sitting on the fence waiting for a superstar of the series to arrive, you've got to get off the fence now if you want one. The link to buy them is down in the description. It's bit.ly/home store, but the link is down in the description if you want to get one. And hopefully we'll find a solution that allows us to keep making them to that same high standard. But like I say, I'm not going to do rubbish ones when I know how good they have been. So it might be that within less than a week the store closes forever, and I'm just as gutted about it as some of you probably are. But let's cheer ourselves up with the return of Anthony Harris. Hello and welcome to part 64 of It's Coming Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our first two games in League One, away against Plymouth, at home against Gillingham. If you missed the transfer special, it was an epic. There's two big headlines you need to know about. One is a record sale of David Sawinski for up to £625,000. He's gone to play for Leeds. It looks like he's actually going to be drifting into the Leeds first team as well, because we tried to take him on loan and they don't want to let him come. They're only one division above us. It's not a Dean Morris, Anthony Harris situation that we had before where we're not good enough for him to come back to. If they're not loaning him to us, I'm going to assume that's because they're going to be playing him. So David Sawinski goes to Leeds for big money. But the big news is Anthony Harris is back. He's still inexplicably only 23 years old. He's a 4-star player with the potential to get better. He's so much better than any other striker we've got at the club. He scored goals in this league last season for Port Vale. He's finally remembered how to score goals again after all those years of just being a bit part player at Norwich and Shrewsbury. And yeah, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to look at this. He last played for us in the Evo Stick Northern Premier League Division 1 East, where he left us as our all-time record appearance holder, all-time record goal scorer, and club captain at 18 years old. There's a lot of expectation on the shoulders of Anthony Harris 5 years on. Goodness me, do I hope he delivers. And we are using a new system to try and help him deliver as well. It's still the 4-3-3 shape, but we've switched to a direct counter-attacking system rather than the control possession system we've been using for the last goodness knows how many years, mainly to try and exploit Anthony Harris. He's very quick. He's a good finisher. We want the ball over the top quickly for Anthony Harris to chase. He's a proper natural advanced forward, something we never had with Mick Powell, who was always a poacher playing as an advanced forward. But we know how good Harris can be in this role. If this system doesn't work, yes, we will try to up top with Harris and Powell back together again at some point. But for now, I think this is the system that best suits the players that we've got. For the first time, probably in the history of the club, we're expected to have a bit of an iffy season. The season preview has us, the media, expecting us to finish in 20th place, so just avoiding relegation. The board, if we can have a look at board expectations. They are expecting us to fight bravely against relegation. So we're finally in one of those situations where even if we get relegated, I'm not getting sacked. It's a fight bravely against relegation. Nobody's expecting us to be any good. So that's why we're counter-attacking. That's why we're putting a lot of focus on defending properly and then just getting the ball up to Harris and seeing what he can do. He's probably the only League One quality player we've got at the club. I hope he's as good as we all hope he will be. So, we're going with Civita in goal. A back four of Paliak, Proctor, Santos and Tanner, with Phillips as our holding midfield player. Fernandes and new boy Bakinson playing in midfield in front of him. Tyler and Stanley as our wingers. And Anthony Harris. Anthony Harris is playing up front. Let's get into the game. Let me get into the game. Come on, I want to play a game. Oh, we're wearing our third choice kit, which is also available just for a few more days. I don't actually have one of those. I probably need to order one of the third choice kits before the store closes, because I planned on saving my third choice kit for a real legend of the save to wear. If we get an Anthony Harris hat trick today, I'm ordering a third choice kit with 10 Harris on the back to commemorate this moment. Right, let's get into the game. Team talk wise, we've just got give a good performance to I've stressed out Anthony Harris. Oh no, that's the last thing I wanted to do. I don't want him to be stressed. It's not like all the pressure of everything is on your shoulders, Anthony. But to be fair, that's how it always was in the good old days. If you remember way back, what would it be? Episode 2 of this save, we went into that match in a very similar situation, expecting to get battered, not knowing if we were going to be any good, and a 16-year-old striker rose from obscurity and made himself a star. He's now 23 and he's got the opportunity to do it again 5 divisions higher. Please, Harris, be good. Please. Palic with the corner. And it falls to Phillips, and Shane Phillips trying to be the first home player to ever score at League One level. And he missed, so he didn't manage to do it. But, you know, we've got Mick Powell on the bench if need be. We've got Polosky on the bench. Officially, star waiting rise. Polosky is the second best striker at the club now. He's only gone and done it! On the stroke of half-time, Anthony Harris has his first goal of the season. Oh my word, I'm so close to knighting my first player of this series. It's so good to have him back. It is so good to have him back. Plymouth 0, Home 1, just on the stroke of half-time. And of course, it's Anthony Harris who scored. I don't think any of us expected it to be a header from a set piece. But goodness me. I am pleased with how things are going. Keep it up. I don't usually do that kind of team talk, but when we're so far out of our depth, and I do feel massively out of our depth, I don't like the fact we're not controlling possession. I know we're not supposed to be anymore, but I'm so used to controlling possession in games. It's just nice to have grabbed a goal. Civita makes the save. Tanner clears. Civita's another one who's placed in the team. We've got to start questioning it. We know how good Civita is, but star rating wise again, Humphreys is apparently the better goalkeeper now, so we need to be keeping an eye on Civita's performances. Harris down the right hand side, slots it into Stanley. Harris again across to Tyler, and Tyler heads just wide. Obviously you can see we've extended some loans as well. Fernandes, Tyler, both here on loan again. I'm still on the lookout for a centre-back. We do still have the transfer window open for a few more days, so there might be another signing before the next game. I don't like having to play Ricardo Santos in League One. Cross comes in, aiming for Stanley, who can't quite get there. It comes to Tanner. Tanner plays it into Bakinson. Back out to Tanner. Across to Anthony Harris. Plays it back to Fernandes. Tyler's there. Back off the crossbar. And it's time for some changes. Tanner in particular. Have we got a right back on the bench? Not really. We've got 2 left backs on the bench. I don't learn, do I? I just don't learn. So we're going to leave Tanner on, who is our captain. Let's leave him on. He'll be fine. Fernandes can come off for Matty Wolf. You didn't expect to be seeing Matty Wolf playing at this level, did you? You just play as the Mezzala. I don't want to change it. The system seems to be working. I don't want to fiddle with it too much. I'm going to bring on Ken Sinclair for Connor Stanley, though, in an effort to teach Ken Sinclair to play on the right wing. Sinclair, star rating-wise, is one of the best players at the club. Do we blame Civita there? I don't think we start blaming Civita for goals yet. But if he was 6 foot tall rather than 5'8", he gets there. Oh dear. 1-1, a draw away from home, first day of the season in League One when we're relegation favourites. Still not a disaster. I am worried about George Tanner. Do I want to bring Pasala on and play him at right back though? I think I've got to. No, not Webber. Pasala, who can actually play right back. Probably should have done it a little bit earlier. But Tanner is playing poorly. He's injured. He's tired. That's a change that probably should have happened a little bit earlier in the match. And I should have a right back on the bench. There's no excuses for having Webber and Pasala on the bench and no right back. I am a silly, silly goose. Right, are we gonna grab a late winner here? It's in their half, but they've got the ball. So I suggest it's probably coming our way. Santos heads clear, but not... In fact, he heads it. I'm not going to allow that to be called clear, though, because he heads it straight back to a Plymouth player. There's 10 seconds left. This will be devastating if it happens like this. But it would have been glorious if Harris had spun there and gone away and grabbed a winner. As it is, I can live with a 1-1 draw away from home, first day of the season. Yeah, unlucky it just wasn't our day. I can live with that. And hopefully we can now go sign it. Oh, actually, we might even be doing transfers after the next game. But we're still going to keep looking for a centre-back. A centre-back is a priority. And see what we come up with. But there's a very good chance if we don't manage to find anybody, we're going to be back in now with another game. And then there might be a transfer in the next episode. Maybe. Couple of changes to the Gillingham game then. Sass Davis comes in for Santos because I am scared of playing Santos at this level. Daly Campbell comes in at right back for Tanner, who is injured or tired after the last game. Where is he? He was around here somewhere. Oh, I put him on the bench. There you go. I'm just tired, really tired after the last game. Not match fit, which is a little bit of a worry. Neither is Connor Stanley. How are these players not match fit when we've just done a pre-season? I don't know. I blame whoever was managing the pre-season matches, which obviously wasn't me. I'm not going to lower myself to that kind of nonsense. Right. I'm really nervous about playing a counter-attacking system at home. I know we're often outnumbered by fans here as well, but it just doesn't sit well with me. But then we did it with Forest Green in non-league to legend, so I guess it can work. Let's expect a win calmly. I'm trying to feel out this league and get an idea of if we're any... Oh, look at that for a local derby. I forgot Posh would be coming up this season. That's going to be massive. First ever big... It's the big one, the big local derby. We're just down the road. Imagine... I am a Posh fan. Imagine being a Posh fan and having a team from just down the road emerge out of nowhere the way Holme have over the last 7 seasons. Oh, I would be enemies with Holme. Goodness me. Right, Stanley bursting through. Can he find Harris ahead of him? Cross comes in. It's Tyler, and Lewis Tyler grabs the first goal at the home of football in League One. I mean, he scored a goal at Wembley way back when as well. I think this is Lewis Tyler's 4th season in a row here on loan. He was out of contract at Villa in the summer, but they inexplicably gave him a 2-year deal and then sent him back to us again. So... I mean, I'm not going to complain. I'll have him on loan forever. He doesn't cost us anything. I'll happily take his entire career of him being here on loan. But if it carries on for much longer, he could end up being one of the highest appearance holders in the history of the club, having never played for us permanently, which would be ridiculous and awesome. I would like it very much. Right. We are 1-0 up. Gillingham... Is that our Ainley from last season who we sold? We're not very good defensively all of a sudden. Are we blaming Civita yet? I feel it's very harsh if we start blaming him, but what we've been used to with Adam Civita is he's just a massively, ridiculously overpowered shot stopper. But that's 2 goals in 2 games now that have seemingly passed through his arms. And I wonder if that's the game just giving me a nudge saying this guy's not your best goalkeeper. Are you aware this guy's not your best goalkeeper? If that shot comes in League 2, he saves it. But I guess it's the limitations of the match engine. He has to look like he's not as good. What did Sass Davis just get sent off for? Well, that spoilt my fun a little bit. We don't have a centre-back on the bench either. Patrick Webber's going to have to come on and play centre-back. Can Phillips play there? I mean, I know years ago we talked about it and did train him there for a little while. but he's only 5'9", and clearly we stopped training him there long ago because he's not even an awkward centre-back anymore. Phillips is not an option. It's going to have to be Webber who comes on. Probably for Phillips. Shane Phillips is our captain today as well. Right, well, let's bring Webber on and do that. It's not ideal. I mean, Webber has played centre-back for us a few times before. I always talked about training him to play there because he's over 6 foot tall. I just never got round to it because he was such a good left-back. But I guess now we've got Paliak, who's a better left-back. Now might be the time to train Patrick Webber to play centre-back just to keep him in and around the team. He was our player of the season last year, of course. Right, time to dig in. Yeah, I mean, we'll be happy with a draw again from this game. 10 men for more than half the game. If we can hold on, then I'll be very happy. I am wondering if we need to tweak the midfield a little bit because we don't really have any defensive midfield in place at all at the moment, which could be a problem. But we're not going to do anything about it while this move is going on because I don't want to jinx it by pressing the tactics button while they're attacking because you never know what might happen. It's like making a substitution when you're defending a corner. I never saw the logic behind not doing that. It's always a superstition thing. I know people say, yeah, Kev, you don't want to... I know there's reasons people give, but really it's just superstition, isn't it? They're not going to take the corner before you're in position. That's not how substitutions work. They let you get on the pitch before they carry on the game. Right. I don't know what to do at this point. That was like my motto of last year. But it's not because we're playing poorly. We haven't played poorly in the first game and a half. We're actually doing what I've asked us to do really rather well. We're playing a direct counter-attacking system. Stanley, cross towards Fernandez. It falls to Stanley again. There's Tyler again. And we've gone 2-1 up on the hour mark. Excellent stuff. Lewis Tyler, he's decided he's a League One player. I said earlier in the episode, Harris is the only League One player we've got. Well, Lewis Tyler thinks otherwise and has got 2 goals in this game. And, I mean, that's a lovely finish as well from Tyler. It's so handy having a goal-scoring midfielder and sad that he doesn't get to wear the number 10 shirt anymore. We should have been allowed 2 number 10 shirts. But 18 looks a bit like 10, which is why he's wearing 18. Civita, big goal kick forward towards Bakinson, doesn't get all the way there. And now former home, I think that's our former player, Ainley, playing in a position we never played him in behind the striker. I think we played him there once maybe, but he was effectively a backup for us all last year, and he's coming to Gillingham's first team. That suggests we should be better than Gillingham. So perhaps we're not as out of our depth at this league as I thought we were, because we're down to 10 men and we're doing all right at the moment. There is Ainley, and it whistles past the post. This is where you'll tell me, Kev, that wasn't your Ainley. That's a different guy. He's a really good attacking midfielder. Right. See, this is where it would have been handy to have 2 left-backs on the bench because Paliak's not playing very well and I could have brought Basala on. As it is, there you go. You get to see Mick Powell. I'm making the change. And we're just going to leave it there for now. So Powell comes on for Harris, who has been quiet today, but, you know, down to 10 men. Can't expect miracles from him. Can Mick Powell do a Mick Powell now? Mick Powell has got to take these opportunities from the bench if he's going to continue being the man around these parts. So we're going to take off Fernandez as well. Bring on Andy Cannon, who is a different type of midfield player. Just going to give us a bit of oomph in there. That's a change I talked about doing earlier on. But now we've got a ball-winning midfielder in our midfield again for our last 10 minutes. And hopefully we get to hold on and pick up our first win at this level, which would be lovely. Yikes. We do look weak defensively. And that's something I've not been used to for a couple of years now. But then I guess it's because we're basically playing the same defence we've been playing for the last couple of years. I mean, Sass Davis has been with us about 4 years now. I know he got sent off today, but I think we signed him in the National League North, and he's still playing for us in League One. That's why he's not good enough. We need that centre-back, and we need him quick. But if we get him, you won't meet until tomorrow's episode, because we sure as heck haven't found him yet. So let's have a look when we're going to be back. I think we'll play a chunk of games, probably 6 games or so. So what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't care about that. So we'll do Lincoln and Chester in our next episode, I think. Or maybe Chester and Portsmouth. Chester have just been following us all the way, haven't they? We'll do Lincoln and Chester. Chester can be the main event because we're going to have to show you the posh game. So we don't want to get too close to that because you know, big local derby. But we'll do Lincoln and Chester tomorrow. And hopefully Anthony Harris will have 20 goals by then and he'll be a superstar again. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.